John here from No Joke NHL, here with our daily report for Day 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. This is Wednesday, May 1st, May Day, everybody. And so we had 3 games last night. Excellent start to the Stanley Cup playoffs. 2 of the games go to overtime, and then the third one, close to going to overtime with the empty net. The Anaheim Ducks were able to put in that empty net goal, and the only team to get a puck line cover last night. So let's go over the results real quick from last night. Blackhawks winning 2-1 in overtime with a goal by Brian Bickle. Marian Hossa actually scored 2 goals in that game. 1 goal disallowed because of the whistle. It clearly stopped play, but clearly Harding did not have control of the puck, and Hossa smacked it back into the net, but the whistle had clearly blown, and so the game did go to overtime. Brian Bickle ended it going through the 5-hole here. Blackhawks pretty much dominated the play. I know it was tight. Clutterbuck put in a soft goal on Crawford early in the game, but the Blackhawks shot in double digits in the last 2 periods, and they held Minnesota to single digits in each one of the periods, including overtime. The Blackhawks had a lot of shots blocked as well, so they put 37 shots on net, had 21 shots blocked, and then they missed with 8 more, compared to 27 shots for Minnesota, 10 blocked by the Blackhawks, and then 10 missed shots for them. So they pretty much outshot them by 25 attempts in putting it there. So definitely the Hawks played the way they were going to, and you knew Minnesota was going to have kind of a tight defensive style, and so this series definitely fit the bill with what's going on. Like I said, a lot of people jumped on Blackhawks at minus 115, minus 118 after Minnesota led 1-0, and it turned out to be a winning move. You kind of watching the game, like I said, you just felt that the Blackhawks were controlling play, but obviously in the playoffs anything can happen. Like I said, Clutterbuck's goal, soft puck that just gets put toward the net, and the next thing you know, like I said, a simple mistake by Crawford not cutting the angle off as much, and puts it in there. So Blackhawks now a firm $7 favorite for the series, and they're going to come back as 2-1 favorites in the second game. So we should expect more of the same there. Nothing really that I saw from Minnesota says that they're going to be able to turn the tables completely on the Blackhawks. If anything, the Blackhawks might have come out a little tight, but they like I said, they put plenty of attempts on net versus the amount of attempts for Minnesota, and I kind of look for that style to continue. So the next game on the board, Blues and Kings, and this is another one that went to overtime. Blues took a 1-0 first period lead, and that held up all the way until 30 seconds left in the game when the Kings score with the empty net. Obviously we were on the Blues minus 1.5 and had them over 5 and over 5.5. None of those panned out, but the minus 1.5 was right there for the taking. Also the over 1.5 for the first period with a post by the Kings, in the final 3 seconds of the first period, in a flurry right before the net. So, the over 5 and over 5.5, yeah, but the puck line and that over 1.5 first period were right there within the grasp, and so those kind of hurt. But nonetheless, still 2 losses that went down there. So the Blues end up taking it in overtime and lead this 1-0. The Blues again really outshot and controlled play here. 42 shots for the Blues versus 29 for the Kings. 17 shots blocked by the Kings on the Blues. 18 shots blocked from the Kings, and then 24 missed shots by the Blues. So certainly, they had the offensive punch going, and it really was quick. That was the determining factor in keeping this game tight. But I really like what I saw from the Blues. Like I said, a tight series, but they definitely got the monkey off their back as far as wins versus, or I should say, consecutive losses. Like I said, Olivier on Twitter was talking about if they lose, or I'm sorry, it was a guy on View from Vegas Forum was talking about if they lose last night, then it'll be 9 straight games, and of course the media would jump all over it. Not really a good place for the St. Louis Blues, so they get rid of that, and hopefully for our series play we can get them to keep that going. The final game was Detroit versus the Ducks, and we decided to jump on the Ducks over their team total of 2.5. We had to get an empty netter with 30 seconds left to get that goal, to achieve that total. But again, it looked like the Ducks were dominating the action. So shots on goal here for the Ducks 27, Detroit 22. But Detroit was outshot in every period but the third, where they outshot them 11-10. But like I said, the wings on the road is not their strong suit, and so this game was pretty formful, with the Ducks going off as a -140 favorite. And like I said, they did get the more than 2-1 puck line cover, although we were not on that play. Coming into tonight's action, we have games 57-58. Toronto at Boston. Boston a -180 favorite tonight, +158 for the series. Boston's a -220 with a comeback on Toronto at +190. This is a very high price for me in this series and for these games. Like I said, these teams played a 4-2 Boston victory, which actually was their first game of the season. It was also the second of a back-to-back for Toronto. They had Ben Scrivens in net. Khudobin get the victory 4-2. The next game they played was a 3-2 victory with Reimer over Khudobin again, and then it was a home and home, and then they went back, and then Boston wins 3-2 in a shootout the next night. So really tight series between these two teams. They're going to play a real tight checking physical style, so I don't really look for any puck line covers in this series, or not looking at it as a thing. These teams normally do not play a lot of overtime games, but this overtime tonight at a +310 kind of makes a little bit of sense, because like I said, I think the playoffs, I think these teams are going to tighten the defense, have a lot of checking, a lot of hitting, and things like that, which maybe there might be some scoring, but I'm not really looking to see any scoring. I kind of think Toronto might be a little tight with their first playoff experience in a couple years, and of course Boston, coming in with their experience. Like I said, they're all about defense in the playoffs anyway. So this series kind of screams a little bit of unders and of tight checking, like I said. So I like Toronto at +160 tonight. I like Toronto at +190 in the series. What I'm probably going to do is, if Toronto happens to lose tonight's game, probably come back and buy into them again at almost 3-1 for the series, because I do look at this as a very even series. I'm not saying Toronto is a lock to win whenever you get a +190 pre-series price. When are they locks, really? But they're definitely a live dog. They both play the same style. They're very familiar with each other, and so this is probably a team that Boston did not want to face. And like I said, Boston's slumping going into the playoffs, so Boston's going to be the team that's really going to have to turn it around tonight if they're for real. Next game on the board: Pittsburgh Penguins, New York Islanders. Penguins a prohibitive -240 favorite, come back +200 on the Islanders. They're a prohibitive favorite for the series, and I don't really see them having too much of a problem here with the Islanders. I look for the Islanders to be able to put the puck in the net here and make it interesting. And I really don't see a defensive series here. We are talking the Penguins. We are talking Marc-Andre Fleury. I know they're going to try to play a defensive series, but that's what they said last year. And of course, we saw the 7-5, 9-8 games with the Flyers, whatever. So one play that I'm kind of looking at here at plus money is over 2.5 for New York Islanders team total at +115. That seems like a solid move that I'll have something on there as well. So far we're on Toronto money line tonight, and Islanders over 2.5 +115. Final game of the night: Vancouver Canucks -140 against the San Jose Sharks at +120. Canucks +220 on the -1.5 puck line. If you're a Sharks believer, +350 on the -1.5. But again, could be a tight checking series. Niemi plays very well against these Vancouver Canucks, and so this could be a very low scoring affair. I'm not really a believer in the Sharks. A lot of people I respect and know on Twitter are on the Sharks. That being said, I'm not on the Vancouver Canucks either. I'm just not a true Sharks believer here, so best of luck to the people jumping on the Sharks. I really don't have a feel either way for either one of these teams. I would probably lean Vancouver, only because last year's playoff exit really was tied to injury and not having both Sedins in the lineup, which was turned out to be a huge move once they were both back. But So they do have their players back. Like I said, Schneider against the Sharks does leave a little bit to be desired, and so like I said, there's a lot of question marks there. Hence, that's why it's a relatively small price for this series and for tonight's game one in Vancouver with -140. Come back at +120 on the Sharks. So that ends today's daily report. So again, we're on Toronto money line tonight +160. We're also on Toronto in the series at +190. We're on New York Islanders over their team total of 2.5 at +115, and that'll be it for today. So as always, we'll be watching the games tonight. Tomorrow, I'll probably keep this same time, 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 Pacific. So that way, it'll give everybody plenty of time to decide what they're going to do with whatever you use this information for. I appreciate all the solid support from the videos. I know I threw a whole bunch at everybody yesterday, but I was really impressed with the view counts and everything like that. So tell all your friends, like I said, No Joke NHL, and as always, let's make some money.